What's up, tribe? How you guys doing? Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I hope you like this video. This is going to be your review for Real Housewives Girls Trip or Ultimate Girls Trip Season 1, Episode 2. So it is day 2. The ladies are waking up. Luann done went down to the beach and swam naked, which I ain't mad at her for. You're on a private beach. You can go in there and swim naked. My only issue is that she felt the need to flash everybody when she got back to the house. Like, everybody didn't need to see your hoo-ha, woo-wah-wah, especially first thing in the morning. Luann, girl, go sit down somewhere. So the ladies are having breakfast, and Kyle is like, listen, I need a little bit more time because I came all the way from the West Coast, and I am still 3 hours ahead of all you hoes. So it is 8 o'clock in the morning to y'all, but it is 5 o'clock in the morning to me, and I need a minute. I was drinking a tequila. We was up late because y'all know Kyle don't be playing. So she eventually does come down. Now, Ramona is getting ready to go for her tennis lesson. Now, listen, I'm probably not going to agree with Ramona on a lot of things, but on this one, I'm with Ramona. If Ramona went to the concierge, all of y'all have a concierge. All of y'all can book whatever y'all need to book. And if Ramona went to the concierge and she booked a tennis lesson with the tennis pro, and now all of a sudden Melissa want to, piggyback on her tennis situation, I can understand where Ramona will be like, girl, no. Because I know how to play tennis. You don't. Like, you're not even a beginner. You're a novice, and I'm intermediate. And I'm doing this to get some exercise in. This is not something to do because, let's see if I can hit the ball over the net. No, I'm really trying to get some exercise. And she even said, listen, I'll give you and Kenya the last 20 minutes of my 60-minute lesson or workout or however you want to word it. I don't see what Ramona was wrong in this one. But of course, they made it seem like, Ramona doesn't want to work out with us. Ramona was like, listen, I'm here to listen. I'm going to this tennis lesson because it is serious, okay? I'm going to get my little workout on, and I feel like I'm being generous by saying y'all can have the last 20 minutes. You know what? On this one, I'm kind of with you on that one, Ramona. But don't get happy, okay? So then, Teresa and Cynthia go for a walk, and Teresa's able to kind of open up to Cynthia. She said, listen, I really was, impressed with what you did last night when you tried to, kind of get Ramona to come back around and get on the same page. You kind of saw that things were going left. She said, and I really appreciated that Kenya had my back. She said, I don't feel like I have anybody like that on my cast that supports me and has my back like that. And so Cynthia was like, well, what about Melissa? She was like, nah, I don't really feel like Melissa has my back like that, And of course they flashed back. She said, me and Melissa, had a rocky past. And so of course they flashed back to, to that and all those things. So today the ladies are going out on the catamaran that, it's just like the regular show. Each person has a different event that they have to host. So they're going out on the boat, the catamaran during the day. And then when they come back in the evening, they are doing the Bailey Q. Now, we know the Bailey Q from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, honey. We know that it's all about being shady, and we're going to get to that, okay? So the ladies get themselves together. They get in their bathing suits and all that stuff, and they go out on the boat. And of course, it is gorgeous. The water is gorgeous. It's a beautiful boat, down to the catamaran, and it's a beautiful situation. And again, we're talking. We're getting to know each other. I didn't know that Luann is a recovering alcoholic. And they got to talking about Luann's marriage to, I think his name was Thomas. Now, on her season, on her show, Bethany tried to let her know that Thomas was no good. And he was just, he won't shit. And she even showed her proof that the man was cheating on her. But she didn't want to accept it. She didn't want to believe it. And so she married him anyway. And of course, they ended up getting divorced. Now, while she's telling the story, Ramona gets up and walks away. She was like, yeah, I'm going down below. And of course, they made a big deal about that. Now, I will agree that I feel like Ramona got up because nobody was paying attention to Ramona. And nobody was kind of entertaining Ramona. And again, we're sitting here talking, but Ramona's side of it was, listen, I know the story. I'm on the season. I lived it with her. She knew he won't shit when she married him. She got what she should have got because She should have never married him to begin with. And he was spreading rumors saying that the three of us were together. And we weren't. So, excuse me if I don't want to sit here. I mean, not three. Excuse me. The two of us were together. And so, excuse me if I do not want to sit here and sit and entertain this. But, of course, the ladies kind of came at her and was like, but, you know, we were sitting here talking and getting to know each other. And even though you heard the stories and you went through it, like, you don't have to get up and walk away. Like, it was sort of rude. It was in the middle of her talking. And it was. It was a very inopportune time in which she chose to get up and walk away. So of course Marona was like, oh my gosh, like, y'all, I'm ADD. Okay, I just kind of had some other things that I was thinking about. I don't see what the big deal is, but okay, fine, whatever. Now, the other situation that I peeped down to this situation is, we know how Cynthia can be, y'all. We know that Cynthia can be very possessive of her friends. And Kenya was being real cozy with Melissa. They taking pictures. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry, y'all. Sorry about that. They taking pictures. They're, they're laughing and joking. They, slapping each other on the butt. Doing all that girl stuff. And Cynthia is not here for it. It is written all over her face, okay? You don't have to say a word. All right? Shout out to the Rude Boys. If you know, you know. And I'm like, Cynthia, the whole purpose of y'all being there is for y'all to get to know other people and spend time with other people. Like, you mad at Kenya because she's actually having fun with somebody other than you? Girl, like, that is so the opposite of what this is all about. But she is giving the side eye and she is feeling some kind of way, okay? Now, she pulls Kyle aside to have a conversation with Kyle about marriage and longevity because, Kyle has been married for 25 years. And she said, I've only been married for 6 months and it's my second marriage and I really wanted to work. So, what advice would you have? Because, all these women are all in my man's DMs and they looking good too. These are some young tenderonies and, what should I do about it? And so her and Kyle have a conversation about it and they laugh and joke and can commiserate about some things that they've all gone through. And Kyle goes on to say, so Cynthia says in her confessional, it was such a great conversation with Kyle. Like, I really feel like we made a good connection. And I'm thinking, well, that is the beginning of the end. You already know that when they start talking like that, y'all know what that's about. Later on this evening, it ain't somebody gonna be in their feelings because, honey, it ain't going down with the go down, okay? Now, Luann also talked about being set up, and how somebody Googled her, and they Googled, when she got arrested, and, how the guy never called. Like, it would just ended up not being a good situation for her. So I was just like, you just never know, the other side of fame sort of thing, right? The other side of fame sort of situation. So after they had the big blow with Ramona on the boat, child, they went on and they continued to have a good time. They were sunbathing and some more stuff down to the boat, okay? And then, so everybody comes back after the boat. All that happened down to the catamaran. So now we're back at the house, and it is now time for the Bailey cue. And everybody's wearing red. It's, wear red or get red, okay? So everybody's put on their best red dress, getting their makeup and hair together. Now, Kenya got a whole glam squad, okay? And I'm not saying that the rest of them didn't have a glam squad, but everybody else seemed to make it to dinner at a reasonable time. Now, I don't think everybody was on time, but I think they made it in a reasonable time, except for Miss Kenya, who was in full glam, okay? Now, while we are waiting for Miss Kenya to come downstairs, Cynthia says, well, I can go ahead and explain to you guys what the game is, because, they're going to play the little shady game where they have the questions and they give out the awards. And so she says, well, I can go ahead and explain the game since Cynthia knows how to play. Since Kenya knows how to play. She's done this before. But even after she gets done explaining the game, Kenya still has not come downstairs. Now, ladies are hungry. They're ready to get started. And Kenya brings her happy ass downstairs an hour late. According to them, an hour late. And then goes to the kitchen and gets herself a plate. Now, the problem with that is They were literally sitting at the table waiting for you, ma'am. So they're waiting for you to get themselves together. I mean, to eat. And you done went through the kitchen to get you something to eat. So, of course, she comes out with a plate, and everybody is giving her the side eye like, you got to be kidding me right now. Like, we've been literally waiting for you, and here you come late with food. Now, we already know that Kenya doesn't understand about etiquette and protocols. Okay? So while Cynthia was explaining the game, Kyle didn't like the fact that there are awards, and the awards are like the prettiest, the sexiest, the nicest butt. And Kyle was like, oh my gosh, what kind of message are we sending? You know, I think that's subjective to say who's pretty and who's not, to say who's, pretty, sexy, well, that's just so subjective. I'm not comfortable with that. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't like that, right? So Kenya comes down. Again, she doesn't know what was said before she gets there. She sits at the table, and Kyle says to her, yeah, I'm not really feeling this game, the whole who's the prettiest, who's the sexiest, and all of that. And Kenya says, oh, yeah, I don't know about that. So now Cynthia is double irritated because she already irritated that Kenya ass is late and went and got herself something to eat. She's irritated now, and let's be clear, she was already mad at Kenya. Let's start there. You were still mad at Kenya from the catamaran, and Kenya was Kiki and Kaka with Melissa. You was already in your feelings. Let's just go on and call a thing a thing. Then you mad because Kenya, like I said, showed up with the food, whatever. Now you mad because Kenya didn't have your back with the game. And I understand where Cynthia is coming from, because Cynthia is like, girl, this is what we do. You've played this game before. You know how we do. You know it's just fun shade. Like, the whole title was wear red or get red. Like, you knew it was going to be some shady shit. So she's going to say, well, I just don't think it's cool. Like, yeah, we do that in Atlanta, but read the room. These girls just, read the room. These girls just, they're not. And so I was like, so are you trying to say that this is a black thing and that you don't think that that's a game? It's cool to play these games amongst us as black women, but we can't play these games with the white women? Like, that's the only thing I can see that's different. Because for you to say, oh, well, that's cool, that's something for us to do when we're in Atlanta, but this just isn't the right environment for that. So Cynthia is irritated. You can see it written all over her face. And Kenya is in her confessional like, see, now they about to meet 50 Cent, Cynthia, because last night they got the Kumbaya Cynthia. Now they about to get 50 Cent, okay? And we all know, remember Nene said it 3-4 years ago, that there's two different Cynthias. And we see one Cynthia, but there's a whole nother Cynthia behind that. 50 Cent, okay? It's who we know. So Kyle was like, so you're irritated with me? And Cynthia was like, yeah, I think you're doing a bit much. Like, I don't think it's that serious. Like, I don't think it's that serious. It's not that big of a deal. It's just a game. And I think you're making way too much out of it. And Kyle was like, well, I'm sorry if you felt like I was like, I had a problem with your game. I just as the mother of daughters, I just think that's just a little bit much. And here go Kenya, yeah, we are sort of marginalizing women when we do that. And again, Cynthia is just like, you could fry an egg on her forehead. She's so hot right now, right? She is pissed. And so they end up playing the game. They ask the questions. Now, Ramona's whole thing was, I ain't saying nothing, because every time I do something or say something, they always go left with it. They always take it there. So I ain't doing nothing. I ain't saying nothing. I don't have no problems. Not me. No, ma'am. So, she gets whatever question she got. She was like, I ain't asking that question. And she puts it back in the bucket. Like, I'm not asking that question. So, y'all know how the game goes. If you watch Real Housewives of Atlanta, some of the games are like, who, in this room you think has the best butt? Who in this room, and then when they got to the question about biggest insecurity, it was Kyle's question, and Kyle was like, "Oh, well, I think everybody knows. For me, it's my body. Like, I have body issues. I had an eating disorder, which I don't have anymore, but it is still something I struggle with. I struggle with how I'm seen. I struggle with, my weight. I struggle with that. And so Cynthia was like, you know what? I think that would be a good question for us to go around the room. And so they ended up going around the room, and they talked about their biggest insecurities. And, Kenya said, finding unconditional love. She said, and now that I have my daughter, I have it, but now I'm looking for unconditional love with a man. Ramona said that her biggest she's the most self-conscious about her body. And of course the ladies were like, what? You were walking around half naked yesterday. Like, what are you talking about? And Cynthia was like, but for some people, even though it's an insecurity, they almost do the opposite. So yes, that is definitely an insecurity that I have, but I kind of do the opposite. So I'll show off my body. I'm flashy with my body to sort of empower myself, but that doesn't mean I'm not insecure about it. And so I do think it was a moment. And Cynthia was like, see, if you would just embrace the game and play the game, it's really fun, and it doesn't have to be shady, and it doesn't have to be nasty or negative. And so then they did get to the awards, and when it got down to the prettiest award, Cynthia was like, do you want me to do it or not? Kyle. And Kyle was like, well, I mean, you know how I feel, but it's your game. We don't have to do it, And so, when it was all over said and done, I think they did do prettiest child though. So when they got the sexiest child, Kyle climbed her happy ass up on the table and flung her hair left to right, talking about who's the sexiest. Who's the sexiest? I was like, oh, for somebody who ain't want to play the award, you sure try to get it, okay? And again, by the time the night was over with, by the time the night was over with, Cynthia, again, you could tell she was pissed off. I mean, she accepted the apology from Kyle, and she appreciated the apology from Kyle. Dang, y'all. But she was not happy, okay? Not happy at all. And we all know that something happened down to this trip between Cynthia and Kenya. And baby, I think we're seeing the first chapter of the situation. Because I don't think this was all. I don't think this was the only thing that went down. But I definitely think this is chapter 1, okay? Now, y'all let me know what y'all think. Drop it in the comments. Peace.